Hey friends, Tux here. I wanted a quick little follow-up video about a video I recently did on HD audio, and in particular DSD and DSF music files, okay? And a couple issues came up. First off, I would want to thank a viewer pointed out that the correct screensaver on the Sony NWA306 would be the white metal master if you're playing a DSF or a DSD file. That is correct. I guess my B52's file was the incorrect file. When I played it, it wasn't the full-on DSF file. Okay, so sorry about that, but this is a correct screensaver, okay? And then the other comment which came up from a few different people, they're like, Tux, like, how dare you? You mentioned DSF files, but you failed to mention the best format for that, or the best remasters, okay? And that's, and hopefully I'm not going to slaughter the name here, guys. It's the Yeraycito Master Series, okay? Yeraycito. And this is a series of audio files which have been remastered to be like the very best, okay? Some people say they're a little bit pitchy, a little bit high as far as the sound field goes, like the trebles, you know, it's kind of pushed a little further than some people would want it. But for me, I think that actually helps heighten that HD feeling and also allows you to hear things that you would not hear otherwise, okay? So it's really important that you check out these files if you can, okay? And I have a series of questions that came up about these in particular, okay? So first off, the pronunciation. Okay, so I'm calling it the Yeraycito Master Series. Some people call it something different, okay? So perhaps there's a little lost in translation there, but let me know if you call it something different, okay? But for purposes of this video, I'm going to say Yeraycito, okay? If that's wrong, I apologize in advance, okay? But anyway, people ask about, like, what is a Yeraycito Master Series, okay? And basically refers to a collection of mastered digital albums, and these are known for their high quality, okay? These are albums which are recorded very well from the get-go, and then were actually remastered to sound even better on HD audio tracks, okay? Now, what really sets these sound recordings apart from other ones, okay, these Yeraycito Master Series files, okay, these DSD or DSF files essentially, is that they're remastered amazingly accurate. They put all sorts of attention to detail of how they remaster these to give you the very best sound listening experience you can have. They are remastered at 32-bit and 96 kilohertz, okay, bit rate, okay, which is high resolution audio. It may not even necessarily be the highest compared to some, but more about that in a little bit. But basically they pick that particular bit rate to ensure that it has a wide sound stage that people want, deep dynamics, detailed sound recordings that provide a really nice, you know, immersive experience, something where you're going to pick out those little HD moments that you wouldn't get just off of a CD, you know? Sorry if my little players turn off here during this whole process. That's going to happen, okay? But anyway, so it's really important to have a good, you know, I always say there's three things you need for HD audio. One is a good sound, you know, file, a good audio recording, like DSF files. Number two is, of course, a great player, you know, and of course, number three is amazing headphones, okay? And there's a lot of options for that, and that's a whole nother big conversation. But these are some of my favorites here, just FYI, okay? Now, when listening to HD audio, it isn't necessarily always my favorite music. Sometimes I listen to music in HD that are things I wouldn't even listen to, like the Beatles, for example. I really don't like classic rock. I guess Beatles is classic rock, old rock, whatever, 50s, whatever the heck Beatles are. But, you know, I do respect the way things are recorded. And sometimes when you hear something that, you know, is a song that's just like okay in your book, you know, but you'll hear it in a super high quality format, it's like mind blowing. You're like, oh my God, like I never realized there was like a cowbell in that song or whatever, you know, and that happens a lot in HD music, you know. So I really enjoy listening to artists that maybe I don't listen to as much normally, you know, and I do check out, you know, even like classic things, Michael Jackson Thriller, not the biggest Michael Jackson fan at all, but to listen to it, you know, on a high res series, like a really good recording, can be amazing. Now, three recordings that people call out a lot as being like three of the very best. If you're like, okay, Tux, give me like, what are the ones I need to find, okay? As far as the Yeraycito Master Series, the three most popular people say are, one is Fleetwood Mac, okay, and that's the best of, okay? I'm not a big Fleetwood Mac fan, and that's one that I don't have, so that's something I do need to add to my collection, at least to hear it from a clarity standpoint, to see if it's really that mind-bending. Maybe it'll make a fan out of me, I don't know. Number two is U2's 18 Tracks, which is a import CD that has a lot of their stuff, you know, spanning from Octoon Baby, going back to their classic big hits, Gloria or whatever, and it has some pretty amazing songs, honestly. And it does sound amazing in this particular, DSF format. I highly recommend it. And a third one is kind of an interesting choice, but a lot of people say Yes's 90125, the one that had Owner of a Lonely Heart and Leave It, and it can change or changes or whatever. They say that's like the third best, really. And that one, you think that would be amazing. In fact, back in the day, that particular album was used for like Alpine stereo commercials, which back in the day, Alpine was the pinnacle of like high-res audio and all this kind of thing. You can look back on old commercials for Alpine and back when you put the fancy, expensive car stereos in your car, that kind of thing. Alpine was definitely the series of choice. In fact, when people used to steal car stereos, that would be like a really hot one to get, I guess. Personally, for me, I always bought my car stereos. I didn't take them or buy used ones or whatever, but I know it was commonly a theft item. So if you had an Alpine stereo in your car, you want to be really careful not to park in a bad neighborhood. Otherwise, someone's going to jack your car stereo, okay? Because it's known for such high quality. And again, to reel this back in, yes, we're like the featured band oftentimes in Alpine commercials because songs like Owner of a Lonely Heart had a really good clarity to it and really sharp highs that really sounded good on, on high quality stereo systems. And back in the days of Yes's 90125, like the sound quality was good, but not as good as HD by any means. But to listen to something which, was known for being like the best sound quality back in the day, on a HD format, you think would be really amazing. But I'll be honest with you, as much as I kind of respect Yes, I guess, I didn't find this recording to be of the usual high standard of a DSF file. Now, let me know if you think I'm dead wrong about that, but I found the highs could have been a little higher, actually. And I found the whole sound to be good, but just a little bit flat for being a full-on HD recording. And definitely, if you're talking about the Yeraycito Master Series, I would have expected a little bit more out of Yes's, 90125, okay? But anyway, it's a good recording, but it just could be a little bit better in my book, okay? I'll stop right there, okay? But really, the whole idea behind this series is that these recordings, they can be purchased, people say, can you purchase these series? Yes, you can, okay? And they're available basically through, specialty audio stores. Sometimes you can find import CDs, audiophile forums. You can find them sometimes, music websites that specialize in HD audio. You can find these. But of course, they are kind of sought after and kind of hard to find, and oftentimes perhaps some of those SACDs I mentioned in my other video maybe were formatted very similar. They had a high-res recording that were used partially in the remixing of these, these Yeraycito Master Series recordings, okay? So that's something to think about if you have a way of playing SACDs. That would be an interesting thing to compare, Yes's CD on SACD or any SACD to the Master Series HD recording. I'd be really curious how those two things compare in real life. Another common question is, are the Yeraycito Master Series recordings available on streaming services? That'd be a great way of sampling them. And although Tidal and some of these services definitely brag about having the Master Series sound recording, they don't really call out to be actual, Yeraycito Master Series recordings. And I've never seen them actually on these streaming services. If you have, let me know, but I don't believe so. Basically, they are not on streaming services, okay? People have asked about, are the Yeraycito Master Series DSD, DSF, or FLAC? Now, if you want to get real technical here, okay, typically a lot of people say they are FLAC, okay? And of course, FLAC is the highest popular format for HD music. Basically, FLAC is widely supported on a lot of different players, and it offers excellent sound quality, as but it's always good to check to see more what that file actually is. And more about that in a second. I'm going to go ahead and talk about 3 different albums here in just a little bit, okay? Now, another thing that comes up is people ask about, they say, like, okay, different albums are recorded at different times. Like, would they all have the same, bit rate? Are all these Yeraycito Master Series recordings actually the same, okay? And I put it to a test. I checked a few of them to see, because that's an excellent question. Like, since they're recorded at different times, are they the same, okay? And it appears they really are, okay? So, for example, Michael Jackson's Thriller, which I was playing over here until the screensaver turned it off on me. Let me see here. Let me pop this on here. Basically, that one is formatted as DSF, and it's 128-bit depth, 1-bit mastering, okay, at 8 or 5.6 megahertz and a bit rate of 11,290 kbps, okay. And then I checked some of the other ones like U2's 18 Singles, which of course is one of my favorites, and that is also format DSF, 128-bit depth, 1-bit mastering, and it's 5.6 megahertz frequency with a bit rate of 11,290 kbps. So it is the same, okay? And just for fun, I thought, okay, well, let me go back and listen to like the Beatles 1, which is recorded a hell of a long time ago, you know, and remastered, and is that the same? And it turns out it is. So it seems like all of the Yeraycito Master Series recordings are of the same quality and same bit rate. And finally, the most popular question I haven't covered yet, I do hear sometimes, is should you use EQ on those special HD recordings, or those Yeraycito Master Series recordings? And the answer, and this is right from them, is no. In fact, they say you should not. And I have to say, in some cases, that is true. Like on my Alpha Kern, this is the Alpha. And this one here, actually, I think they sound a lot better just natively played off the player. But I have to say, this little Sony player has some amazing sound processing. I would challenge you to maybe play it with and play without EQ, especially some of the special sound processing built into this, and see what you think. Play with it and kind of see what you think. And again, it's going to vary a lot depending upon what one you're listening to, what player you're listening to it on, and, you know, headphones. There's a lot of different elements to how it's going to sound to you, you know, and maybe it'll sound different to each person experiencing it. But I would say that I would at least try to do what they say, and basically their exact quote is, okay, in order to achieve the best sound quality, given the music, you know, more power, which of course is great, loudness and worth, we always respecting the original sound, and very important, do not use any sound equalizing when listening to this music, okay? It's mastered, so you don't have to have any other improvements. They want you to listen to it just as they have. So like basically, if you think about, if you have your EQ set with a whole bunch of, you know, super high highs, you have all the treble cranked up or something, when you listen to their recordings, you know, these special Yeraycito Master Series recordings, it's going to be a situation where you're going to have too much high then. So it really is best to like kind of at least first listen to it exactly as they intended with no extra sound processing. And then later, if you want to tweak a little bit and try and listen to it, you know, with your sound processing, you know, your EQ or whatever on it, or special sound processing from the Sony NWA 306, then do that, you know, but at least give it one shot, just straight up, no sound processing, and see, you know, basically the magic they work with their recording, and then take it from that point, okay? All right, guys, I hope this video helps you. I know this video is probably not for everyone, but being that I am definitely someone who is into DSF files, which I believe are the ultimate recording when it comes to HD audio, and well a step above like Tidal or any kind of streaming service, you really have to hear these. If you love music, I would challenge you to go out there and try and find, purchase whatever, Yeraycito Master Series CD, okay? And even if it's a band that you don't listen to, like Michael Jackson, Thriller, or the Beatles or something, which are not two of my favorite bands by any stretch of the means, they're not even close. Just, it's fun to listen to them, especially if there's songs that you know, you've heard on the radio or something, even if it's not your favorite band. It's amazing that to hear some of these just extremely great recorded albums, you know, and especially when they're processed this way, you know, under the Yeraycito Master Series recordings, they do some real magic with them. Yeah, they really, really do, okay? All right, guys, I will have links for this type of stuff down below. Click the links. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me, tuxtoys@gmail.com. You guys know I'm here to help, okay? All right, friends, we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.